In today's consumer-driven society, we are constantly told that happiness is linked to possessions, the latest gadget, the trendiest clothes, the most luxurious car, or the biggest house. We are encouraged to chase upgrades, status symbols, and material wealth, believing that they will bring us fulfillment and satisfaction. Yet, more often than not, after acquiring these things, we are left with a feeling of emptiness, as if something is still missing. Seneca offers us a powerful insight. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. This Stoic teaching challenges the idea that possessions equate to happiness. Instead, it reminds us that desire, the craving for more and more, is the true source of poverty. In this video, we'll explore how Stoic philosophy can help us detach from materialism, shift our focus to what truly brings fulfillment, and find lasting contentment beyond the pursuit of possessions. Seneca offers a powerful reflection when he says, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This Stoic teaching challenges the modern assumption that happiness is tied to possessions. In a world driven by consumerism, we are often led to believe that if we just acquire a little more, a bigger house, a fancier car, or the latest trend, we will find fulfillment. However, Seneca reminds us that the true poverty doesn't lie in having too little, but in the unquenchable craving for more. The constant pursuit of material goods leaves us empty and perpetuates a cycle of dissatisfaction. Stoicism teaches that true wealth comes not from acquiring more, but from detaching from the desire for things and finding contentment with what we already have. Seneca's statement, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor," strikes at the very heart of the Stoic view of wealth and contentment. In our modern consumer culture, we are constantly fed the idea that happiness and success are directly tied to material possessions. Whether it's a newer model of a smartphone, a bigger house, or a designer label, the belief is that acquiring more will lead to greater fulfillment. However, the Stoics knew better. The desire for more, the craving, is what ultimately leads to poverty. This isn't just about having a lot or a little. It's about our relationship with material things. Stoicism teaches us that true wealth isn't found in the abundance of possessions, but in the freedom from the craving for more. The Stoics weren't against owning things, but they believed that contentment comes when we can enjoy what we have without clinging to it or constantly seeking more. True richness, they argued, lies in detaching from the need for external validation through material goods. The trap of consumerism. We live in a world where consumerism is not just a way of life, but a culture. Advertisements and social media constantly tell us that we need more to be happy, successful, or accepted. This cycle of desire feeds into the belief that we aren't enough unless we have the latest products, the trendiest fashion, or the most luxurious lifestyle. And when we finally acquire these things, the satisfaction is often short-lived, leaving us yearning for more. The cycle of consumerism is endless. As soon as we acquire one thing, another need rises. The more we have, the more we want. Seneca reminds us that this craving for more, rather than the lack of things, is what makes us poor. We may have a house full of belongings, but if we're never satisfied with what we have, we live in a state of constant want and discontentment. Stoicism, detaching from materialism, recognizes the difference between need and want. One of the first steps in detaching from materialism is to recognize the difference between what we need and what we want. The Stoics believed that our true needs are very simple, things like food, shelter, and basic comfort. Everything beyond that is often driven by desire or social pressures. The more we are able to differentiate need from wants, the easier it becomes to find contentment with what we already have. Cultivate gratitude for what you have. Gratitude is a core Stoic practice. Instead of focusing on what we don't have, we can shift our focus to what we do have. By practicing gratitude for the simple things in life, our health, our relationships, and the comforts we already enjoy, we can begin to detach from the belief that more is always better. Stoicism encourages us to embrace simplicity, finding fulfillment in the present moment rather than in the endless pursuit of external possessions. Embrace the practice of moderation. Moderation is a key Stoic virtue. The Stoics didn't advocate for asceticism or deprivation, but they believed in the importance of moderating our desires. Instead of pursuing endless acquisitions, Stoicism encourages us to focus on what is truly necessary. By practicing moderation in our consumption, we can find peace and satisfaction in living with less, not less in quality, but in desire. The less we crave, the more we enjoy the things we already possess. Detach from external validation. One of the most powerful aspects of Stoic philosophy is the ability to detach from the opinions of others. In today's world, we are constantly measuring our worth by what we own, how we look, or what we achieve. Social media feeds this cycle by showing us curated, idealized versions of people's lives, leading us to compare ourselves and feel inadequate. Stoicism teaches us to find our value in ourselves, not in external possessions or the approval of others. True self-worth is grounded in virtue and integrity, not in what we have or what others think of us. Focus on inner growth, not outer acquisition. The Stoics emphasized that true wealth comes from within. Instead of chasing after material possessions or external success, Stoicism encourages us to focus on personal growth and virtue. When we prioritize wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, we cultivate a sense of inner richness that cannot be depleted by external circumstances. The more we invest in our inner lives, the less we feel the need to prove our worth through material goods. The freedom of detachment, the freedom found in detaching from materialism, is profound. By letting go of the need for more, we free ourselves from the constant chase for possessions and status symbols. True fulfillment comes not from what we own, but from how we live, what we value, and how we relate to the world around us. When we detach from materialism, we find that we can enjoy life's simple pleasures without the burden of craving more. The Stoics taught that contentment is internal, not external. By focusing on what truly matters, our relationships, our values, and our pursuit of virtue, we can create a life that is rich in meaning and free from the pull of material desires. In a world dominated by consumerism, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that happiness is directly tied to possessions. The message is everywhere: buy more, upgrade constantly, and possess the latest trends to find fulfillment and status. This never-ending pursuit of material wealth often leads to a sense of emptiness and dissatisfaction, leaving us feeling that no matter how much we have, it's never enough. In contrast, Stoicism offers a refreshing perspective on happiness and contentment. The Stoics recognized that true wealth doesn't come from the accumulation of things, but from the ability to live simply, value virtue, and detach from the constant desire for more. Seneca's powerful words: "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more." That is poor. Challenge the very foundation of our consumer culture. True poverty isn't about lacking material goods. It's about the unquenchable craving for more. The consumer trap today. Consumerism runs rampant, from advertisements to social media. We are told that our value is defined by what we own, what we wear, and how much we accumulate. The desire to have more, the latest gadgets, the trendiest clothing, the biggest house, can feel like an endless pursuit. We are constantly told that happiness will come when we achieve more. But more often than not, this pursuit leaves us feeling empty after we get what we think we need. The satisfaction quickly fades, and we are left craving something else. But Seneca's wisdom offers you as a way out of this cycle. Craving more is the true source of poverty. We can own nothing, yet still be rich in peace, virtue, and contentment. Material possessions are fleeting, but the virtue we cultivate and the contentment we create within ourselves are lasting. Stoicism teaches us to detach from the need for more, focusing instead on what we truly need to live a fulfilling and meaningful life. The Stoic way to detach from materialism. Recognize what is truly necessary. One of the first steps to detaching from materialism is to reflect on what we truly need. Seneca teaches that simplicity is key to contentment. The Stoics believe that most of our desires are unnecessary, and that true happiness comes from having only what we need. By reevaluating what is truly necessary in our lives, focusing on health, relationships, and virtue, we stop chasing after what's temporary and start appreciating the abundance already around us. Practice gratitude for what you have. Gratitude is central to Stoic practice. Instead of constantly seeking the next upgrade, Stoicism teaches us to appreciate what we already have. Every possession, no matter how small, is a gift. By practicing daily gratitude, we shift our focus from wanting to appreciating. We realize that contentment is not found in acquiring more, but in acknowledging the value of what we already possess. Embrace simplicity. The Stoics didn't reject material things, but they practiced simplicity and moderation. Instead of accumulating possessions for the sake of status or comfort, they focused on living simply and embracing what was necessary for a virtuous life. By embracing simplicity, we free ourselves from the constant pressure of consumerism. We start focusing on what truly matters, not how much we own, but how we live and serve others, detached from external validation. Our culture often encourages us to seek validation through possessions. The more we have, the more we feel worthy. The Stoics, however, taught that true worth comes from within. By focusing on personal growth, integrity, and virtue, we learn to detach from the need to impress others with what we own. When we stop seeking external validation through material goods, we can find true freedom and peace in our lives. Live in accordance with nature. The Stoics believed in living in harmony with nature, understanding that we are part of something much bigger than our own desires. Material possessions are transient, but virtue is enduring. By focusing on what is natural and necessary, we detach from the cycle of wanting more and align ourselves with the universal order. Contentment comes when we stop fighting against nature and start living in a way that honors our true needs. The freedom of detaching from materialism. The Stoic path is one of freedom. Freedom from the desire for more, freedom from consumerism, and freedom from the constant craving that keeps us trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction. When we detach from the need to accumulate possessions or chase after status symbols, we find peace in simplicity. True wealth comes not from what we own, but from what we value and how we choose to live our lives. By embracing Stoic principles, we can create a life that is free from the burdens of materialism. We start living in alignment with our true needs and values, finding fulfillment in what really matters, virtue, wisdom, and meaningful connections. In a world that encourages us to chase after more, the Stoic path shows us that less is more. More peace, more freedom, and more contentment. As we conclude today's reflection on detaching from materialism in a consumer culture, remember that true wealth isn't measured by what we own, but by how we live and value the essentials of life. Seneca reminds us that it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more. That is poor. The constant craving for more possessions, upgrades, and status symbols doesn't lead to fulfillment. it leads to a never-ending cycle of dissatisfaction. By practicing simplicity, gratitude, and virtue, we can break free from the grips of consumerism and find contentment in the things that truly matter: our relationships, our health, and the pursuit of meaning. Detaching from materialism doesn't mean rejecting all possessions, but rather choosing to live intentionally, appreciating what we already have and focusing on what aligns with our values. So the next time you feel the pull of consumerism, remember that true freedom comes when we let go of the need for more and embrace the peace and contentment that come from living simply and in accordance with our virtues. Thank you for joining us today. If this video resonated with you, subscribe and share it with someone who might benefit from learning how to live with less, focusing on what truly matters. Together, let's walk the Stoic path of simplicity, freedom, and meaningful living.